सर श्रेय वहाँ पे है?
श्रेय मेरे रूम में नहीं है, बुलाना है?
वो बोल रहा था मैं सर के रूम में जाऊँगा करके। हाँ, क्योंकि मैंने
हाँ
लाइव
वो
किया है, इसलिए
हाँ
उसको बोलना था चेक करने को।
अच्छा, मैं बोल देता उसको। गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
गुड आफ्टरनून।
गुड
Good
आफ्टरनून
afternoon,
सर।
sir.
या
Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon,
हो गया
sir.
ना?
Good
लाइव
afternoon.
हो गया ना?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
ऊपर लाइव हो गया, लाइव हो
यस
लाइव हो
यस
रहा
सर,
है।
हाँ मैंने चेक किया, लाइव हो गया है। हाँ
अच्छा, यूट्यूब पे हो गया लाइव?
हाँ सर।
ओके ओके।
दस मिनट वेट करो, 10 मिनट वेट करो।
या वी स्टार्टेड 3 o'clock, भी
3
2
o'clock
शुरू हुए हैं।
आजकल पब्लिक भी टाइम पे ही ज्वाइन होता है।
Internet चाहिए साहब जी.
है?
Internet is required. Not 10 minutes.
बराबर है।
Yeah. If you join earlier, you require 10 minutes more for internet.
राइट।
OBS તું હેન્ડલ કરે છે રૂપલ?
હા સર,
ઓકે
એ ઓબીએસથી જ પછી આ પેલું લાઈવ સ્ટ્રીમિંગ થશે ને, એટલે પહેલાં ઓબીએસ મારે કરવું પડે તો જ હું ગો લાઈવ કરી શકું.
રાઈટ રાઈટ યા
હા.
I think very few people will join Google Meet. All others will join YouTube.
हाँ यूट्यूब में भी पता चलेगा हाउ मेनी व्यूअर्स
हाँ,
आर देयर.
yeah.
हाँ दैट यू ऑल्सो विल कम टू नो.
Okay, okay, okay.
अभी वैसे भी 5-6 minutes are more to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people will join. Yeah.
Naresh Kumar ji, good afternoon. Thomas, good afternoon. ये कोई डांस का प्रोग्राम होता है तो जल्दी ज्वाइन होगा। Bharati, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Bharati.
Madam, you are. Your microphone is mute, madam.
Bharati, the microphone is.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm in office actually.
Okay.
So that's why I thought I'll have a meet. It just started.
Okay.
So going to start now.
Yes.
Yes, I will rejoin after.
Oh, no issue.
Shall we start, sir? It's 3 o'clock.
Yes, I think we can.
Yes. We can start. No issue. Let people join slowly.
Yeah. So, very good afternoon to one and all who have joined through this Google Meet. On behalf of Department of Statistics, I welcome you all and also a very warm welcome to the Honorable Dean Sir, Professor H.R. Kataria, Dean Faculty of Science, the other colleagues from Faculty of Science and from other departments also, and those who are from outside MS University also. I welcome you all to this webinar, which is on introduction of the book titled Sustainable Development and Quality of Life through Lean, Green and Clean Concept. We are privileged to have with us the author of the book, Professor K. Muralidharan sir, who is going to speak about the book today. So first of all, I would like to invite Head Department of Statistics, Professor Vipul Kalamkar, to introduce the speaker and also introduce about today's webinar. Over to you, Kalamkar sir.
Yes, thank you, Rupal, and a very warm welcome to everyone who has joined here. I'm very happy to introduce to you the speaker of today's talk, Professor Muralidharan. Professor Muralidharan is a professor of statistics. He is former head Department of Statistics. He did his graduation, post-graduation from Calicut University, Kerala, and MPhil and PhD from SP University. He has done postdoctoral from Academia Sinica from Taiwan. Professor Muralidharan having more than 30 years of teaching and research experience. He has completed about 5 major research projects. 4 students already completed PhD, 2 are working currently. This book, which he is going to talk about today, is his 9th book and 7th on the quality. All his books are published by the reputed publishers like Springer, CRC Press, PHI, Naroja, etc. Professor Muralidharan is a very, having a good name, or a rather big name in the area of quality assurance and quality building in the products. He is a Six Sigma Master Black Belt. Professor Muralidharan has got number of awards and fellowships to his credit. I'll just pick out the few notable ones. Rather, he got Distinguished Statistician of India Award from Indian Society of Probability and Statistics in 2016. He got India and Commonwealth Academic Fellowship in 2011, that is sponsored by British Council UK. He got Best Science Teacher Award in Mathematical Sciences by Gujarat Science Academy in 2017. he got a prestigious award of Young Emerging Future Leader of Quality and Reliability by Society for Reliability Engineering, Quality and Operations Management, Sweden in 2015. He is also principal member of Bureau of Indian Standards, New Delhi. And those of you who understand the language which I'll talk about now, Professor Muralidharan has got an H index of 13 and I10 index of 20. So you can see that we have got a very learned speaker to listen to today. He's going to talk about his book about sustainability and quality of life using lean, green, and clean concepts. In fact, in one of the meetings of various heads in a dean's room, once a question was asked to me that what is this lean, green, and clean, and how it is related to statistics. So honestly speaking, I was not in a position to give a very clear answer to that, because this was a brainchild of Professor Muralidharan. But what I know is that the course that is offered by Professor Muralidharan with the same title is one of the very popular courses in Faculty of Science, which we have started under generic elective courses. But what I understand is that the concept of lean has something to do with, using minimal resources, achieving maximum output or maximum quality. That is what it is supposed to be, because this Lean Six Sigma is something which I have heard of, but if I talk about the software development domain, then there also we talk about lean approaches. Basically, we refer to that as an agile approach. Those who are aware of software development domain would be aware of this. So there also we do talk about this lean approach, which is popularly named as agile approach there. So basically, simplifying the processes, minimizing the resource consumption, and thereby, giving less stress to the resources that are available on Earth, and thereby contributing towards the green initiative. Even we have a concept of what is called green computing, right? So there also we talk about utilizing the minimum of the natural resources and still achieve whatever we have been achieving with the current approaches. So that is this leanness basically going to contribute towards the greenness of the environment. That's what I understand. And of course, this how lean and green is connected to clean is not very much clear to me yet, which I expect to be learn from today's talk. But we do understand that cleanliness has its own importance, because cleanliness will bring the better, it will promote better health, better hygiene, and of course cleanliness also results into the better state of mind. You are in a more pleasant environment, and thereby you can increase the productivity with that pleasant state of mind. So that is how the clean is also an important term. And I understand that this lean, green, and clean, these three terms are being talked about so frequently in various domains. In fact, I have come across almost all 6 factorial possible ways of ordering this lean, green, and clean. Somebody will say green, clean, and lean. Somebody will say clean, green, and lean. And all 6 factorial combinations I have, permutations rather, I have come across while trying to find out a little bit more about lean, green, and clean. In fact, it is also talked about a lot in the area of health and diets. People talk about lean, green, and clean, and I just recently came across a news article which says that the city of London has come out with a new plan where the London city is going to adopt the lean, green, and clean concepts to come out with a new model of the city of London. So I'm sure that this lean, green, and clean concepts are becoming very, very popular in variety of domains, because it is all about improving with the minimal resources is what I understand as an underline. So with this, I think I hand over the charge back to Rupal But looking forward to a very interesting talk by Professor Muralidharan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Kalamkar. May I now request our Honorable Dean Sir, Professor Kataria Sir. He's always been very motivating and supporting in all our endeavors or whatever initiatives we take. So we are really honored and blessed with his presence in this webinar. So may I request Kataria sir to please say your words of blessing to us. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's really great pleasure for me to be the part of this important webinar, which is introduction to the book named Sustainable Development and Quality of Life through Lean, Green and Clean Concept by my friend Professor Muralidharan. As rightly pointed out by Professor Kalamkar, Professor Muralidharan is a wonderful teacher, very good researcher, and a very well human being. About the book builds on simple concepts like lean and green concept, which becomes an integral part of clean sciences and technologies. The environment, air, land, ecosystem, and climate are for all climate change issues, and environmental problems are prevalent these days and pose various kinds of problems sustainable in our day-to-day lives. The lean principle advocates waste elimination and improve quality in process or product, and the green concepts facilitate sustainable practices and promotions. Therefore, there is an immediate requirement to educate people to act positively towards the ill effect of waste and pollution. I firmly believe that the lean, green and lean concepts can certainly facilitate a positive approach for a better quality of life. I congratulate Professor Muralidharan for such a wonderful book, and I am very happy that the department have arranged the webinar in the largest interest, so the many outsiders, former students, staff members, all will be benefited by the talk of Professor Muralidharan. And I personally know he is a very, very good teacher, so I am confident that everybody will enjoy his teaching. And this webinar would be certainly a very fruitful webinar. I congratulate the department, Professor Diput Kalamkar, Dr. Rupal Shah and all the organizers for organizing such important webinar. And I take this opportunity to thank the organizers for inviting me and giving chance to interact with the participants. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.
My best wishes for this webinar. Thanks.
Thank you.
Dr. Rupal.
Thank you so much, Kataria sir, for your kind words. Now, without without letting the participants wait anymore, we will now hand over the session to the author and the speaker, Professor K. Muralidharan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Let me share the presentation first. Can you see the presentation, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now it is in slideshow mode.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
it is in
slide, yeah,
slideshow.
yeah, yes, slideshow is visible, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you, and thanks to Professor Haribhai Kataria, our Dean, Faculty of Science, for giving good words on me and my own head, Department of Statistics, Professor Bulbul Kalamkar. Both of them have given me a lot of responsibility in their speech. In fact, I also asked myself a number of times regarding the same question, how I'm going to connect lean, green and clean concepts with statistics, or how much or how come statistics has any role with this kind of concepts. It's number of times it was, asked myself. Now, he pointed out many other things also regarding the concepts which is now used worldwide. If you look at the literatures, generally people get into literatures survey through Google search and Wikipedia and all. If you do that, I'm sure you will get a number of references, materials for lean concepts, I'm sure. Now, in the same way, there are a number of literatures available for lean. In the same way, if you do a survey for green activities, again, I'm sure you will get materials. Textbooks are available, and reference materials and everything are available for that. Now comes the third term called clean. So that's a very important term. Professor Kalamkar also mentioned in his speech that how come that is going to be, or is it just a matter of coincidence, or this thing, or it's a term used to appropriate the other two concepts, or what exactly it is going to be. Anyway, I will answer, I'm sure I will be able to answer some of these questions to my presentations. Now, there is a small background and some inspiration behind this, writing this book. It was one of the curriculum development meeting in our faculty held some time ago, some 3-4 years ago. Regarding the development of curriculum for deciding foundation level courses, elective principal courses, etc. I was asked to design a course for foundation level students. So that time I just proposed a term, or you can say the title of the course, in the name Lean, Green and Clean Sciences. And interestingly, this particular course is now offered, and I have already completed one batch. I also received some feedback from the students and other faculties also that it was well received. That's really a very, a good point. And at that time, I didn't have any kind of lecture notes or any kind of this thing with me. So what I did was I simply started compiling my own work, published in small, short communication kind of things, in various magazines, bulletins, and other short communications, etc. I did that. Then some of my own lecture notes, which is given to my students in MSc for the course called Six Sigma for Quality Improvement, and and this is one of the inspiration which I received. That time I used to read Times of India is a usual this thing. There used to be an edition called a Speaking Tree edition, and that I used to complete page by page. I used to complete in the entire week. That used to appear every Tuesday, and I used to read that Speaking Tree edition with full-heartedly and completing every pages, and so that gave me some insights, and that actually inspired me to write a kind of book, and something which at least I can say that, yes, students, this is the material which you can refer to. At least I can have some my own note, lecture notes in the form of book. So what I did was I had a collection, I did some write-up, and I simply communicated the write-up to the Springer editor. And I actually asked him whether there is any potential for publication of this particular materials in any journal, in any book or any public, with his opinion regarding the potentiality of this publication. So after some days, I got a reply from him that yes, instead of you looking for somebody else or you are asking me to look for somebody else, I think it's not fine. We are able to, we can publish. I'm so happy with that particular, reply from him. But with the condition that you should enhance this particular material to have some more pages, at least 100 pages is required more. That was a condition. I started working on it. So in the process, I found a lot of other insights through many papers, magazines, and I started reading a lot of books connecting with quality and all those aspects. So that's how it all started, and now I could very well say that it was, started with a 2-credit course for the foundation level, and now I feel that it can be offered as a full 4-credit course in any undergraduate program. So the book now has 372 pages. There are 10 chapters, about 85 numerical illustrations, 82 tables, 104 figures, and there's a separate chapter on case studies and contests, and exercise is given in every chapter, glossary of terms, plus etc. etc. Now, there is another reason why I started looking at this particular, because if you look at the title of the book now, it was actually revised by them, actually speaking, not by me. My title initially was Lean, Green, Clean Sciences for Sustainable Quality of Life. After a lot of thought process only, we came to a conclusion that from their side, the publisher side, that it should be written in this format, and I agreed, and it's fine. I found now that's the best title for it. So the reason why I believe that yes, everything in excess is waste. By my own experience, which I've seen from outside, outer my life, and the people, the process, everywhere I found, if you look at everything, in excess, everything is going to be waste. You will see what is that everything or anything, that's all about money, power, energy, infrastructure, machinery, comfort. You look at anything, everything in excess is going to be waste. So it's a very, very important thing. I'm sure some of you may not agree with me. I'm sure some of you may have their own perception and their own definitions and their own, conventions and everything. So I'm not interested in that. But this is what I feel, according to my own experience. I'm telling. This is my life. I'm just putting my own life in this book. I had a 3 years rigorous exercise, and Corona lockdown became actually a blessing in disguise for me, because that was time that I got the revision. So I had a lot of time and spent a lot of time, 10 to 12 hours every day without break. So I put my own life to a certain extent in this particular book. So that's the reason why I'm telling waste. It's very, very important, the concept of waste. You talk about waste in any other angle, any other sense you can talk about. So a lot of sense you can talk about waste. So I find this is excess, everything is waste. So before that, I think let us note this particular quote from Rabindranath Tagore. Quality of life is a relative term, and there is no absolute standard of living that is universally accepted, and quality of life varies in time, space, and culture. I don't want to comment on, I don't want to describe anything, I'm just reading it out. Objective as well as subjective criteria are used for the evaluation of quality of life, and includes material wealth, health conditions, social, political position, mortality, and also be considered as a basis for assessing quality of life. So reference to that particular citation, or you can say the material which I collected from this particular proceedings, kind of this. Okay, so quality of life, there are a lot of definitions. The first chapter, introduction, contains a lot of definitions, perceptions about life, quality of life. So one of the best definition, I feel this is the best, broadly defined as an individual's happiness or satisfaction with life and environment, including needs and desires, aspirations, lifestyle preferences, and other tangible and intangible factors that determine his or her overall well-being. So I found this one as the best, one of the best definitions. Okay, so before getting into the depth of this particular book or the details, I think I should make a kind of a declaration kind of thing. So this is what is expected when you talk about sustainable quality life. It is expected that at a desired level, everyone should discharge their moral duties for the benefit of people and society, have a good civic sense, practice the best part of civil rules and regulations, promote positive thinking, be adaptable to attitudinal changes for the better. Again, I don't want to discuss too much on that. Let us now delve into the concepts lean, green, and clean. Then we will slowly get into the details and connect. I will connect each concept with the sustainable quality life, and I will also show you how statistics can play a vital role in sustainable quality life. And lean principles advocate value creation and mapping of all processes from the customer's point of view. And it's actually, as Professor Kalamkar also told, that it's actually a process where you can simplify the process, speed up the process, and get the best return. Okay, having minimum resources, work and make maximum return. That's, to some extent, that's the lean objective. As value specified, because value creation is the most important objective or most important part of lean principles. So as values specified, created, value streams and gaps are identified, waste steps automatically get removed, and flow will be established. There will be flow and pull, and that will be established to introduce and then begin the process again till a complete perfection is reached. And this is how, in this process, there will be the waste elimination automatically takes place. I will give you what is meant by waste. What you mean by waste? In this particular philosophy, waste has a different meaning. When we talk about waste in general, in a layman language, people always talk about food waste, plastic waste, this waste, that thing, etc., etc. Of course, there all will be a part of this particular philosophy. And methodology improves with the speed and the execution of the process, along with the identification of waste. Okay, so there is a long, strong commitment is required for the problem. It's not one man's job, two man's job. It's a group activity. It's a philosophy, I find. Okay, so if you look at simple to understand, look at a general organizational process. You have inputs, process, outputs. Many inputs go into a process, and finally you get some outputs. Can be multiple outputs, single outputs, etc. Look at the process part, the circle one, in the inner one. You can see a lot of activities going on, a lot of activities with the connectivity and the disconnects, connects, etc., continuity, etc. Lot of redundancy can also be possible. It's a general organizational process, whereas a lean process is something like a flexible one, simple one, where you don't have too much of complexity in the process. Okay, the same thing happens there also. Output, input, process, output, process. So let us understand what you mean by waste. So according to the lean philosophy, please let me know, let me tell you that the lean philosophy was first introduced by Toyota people. Toyota, that's why they call the Toyota production system in short. So most of the time, if you refer to the books or materials on lean, you can always see the lean principles discussed in connection with the Toyota production system. Few literatures are talking in general. So I have my concept, my philosophy, or whatever I am going to show, or whatever I am going to written in my book. This has nothing to do with Toyota production system. It's all together a different ways and concept wise. So defects is one of the kind of waste. All types of errors, scrap materials, reworks, etc. Everything. You look at an office and see an organization or an institution. Lot of activities you can see how often, how much the waste is generated through various activities. Defects, of course, overproduction, waiting, in transportation, inventory, where it contains all kinds of raw materials, etc. Motion of people, vehicles, materials, okay, extra processing of, again, papers, everything. All these are considered to be waste. Okay, so in the literature, if you see, sometimes you can say 7 types of waste. Now, along with that, there is one more kind of waste which is added, that is underutilized talents, ideas, and resources. It's a very important. Last one is a very important type of waste. Many often you can see in government institutions or government offices, you can see people. Some people will simply sitting and doing something, or maybe watching movies or playing, online games and etc. And some people are there with every time they do every job. it's both the way wastes are generated. Okay, so this particular slide is very, very important to understand the whole philosophy from here on. So there's a lot of discussion on this in chapter 2, so you should refer to that. Let's look at the report, a report from World Bank's What a Waste 2.0 report. It was, out in the year 2018. Waste disposal is causing 1.6 billion tons of CO2 emissions globally. And the report articulates that 2.01 billion tons of municipal waste generated worldwide every year, and 34% of all waste is made by just 16% of the world population, mainly from higher income countries like USA, China, and all these things. Interestingly, more than 10th of the world's waste is generated in India, which is really a matter of concern for us. In 30 years from now, the report was, came out in 2018. So 30 years from now, India is going to double the amount of garbage it makes now, according to the Times of India report appeared in 2010. And food waste is going to be the major contributor in that case. And according to a toy report, again, another report which appeared in 2019, India has about 25,940 ton plastic waste problem. Please note, this is just 2 years ago. Out of this, 40% remains uncollected, causing choking of drainage and river systems, littering of the marine ecosystem, soil and water pollution, ingestion by stray animals and open air burning, learning to adverse impact on human health and environment. You can see the impact it is creating. We know the waste, plastic waste problem created. Now there is one more waste added, that is electronic waste or e-waste. Many countries are now facing problems with e-waste. China and Japan especially, because they are the maximum producer of electronic items, computer, all the hardware related things. So they are facing this kind of. India is also going to have this, although India does all the assembly part here, but still, India is also going to have this kind of problems. Okay, so my point of bringing these particular notes and information, facts and figures in front of you is to make you sensitized towards the waste problems we are having now. Okay, now according to the city, configuration, if you see, Delhi stands at the first, then Chennai, Kolkata, and Mumbai, it goes like that. Okay, it's all due to urbanization and modernization. Nothing. What do you mean by green? Green, usually the meaning is the dictionary meaning is the color of life, renewal, nature, energy. It's all associated with the prosperity, growth, harmony, freshness, etc., etc. This is how we define green activity. Interestingly, green is also associated with other. The initiative shows the abundance, renewal, growth of people, process, and the planet. And green activity is also synonymous with sustainability. So that's the reason why I brought the term sustainability. So all the green activities, and green activities now is happening in many ways. You can bring a lot of green science activities, green technologies are there, okay, and people are using it. And especially in agricultural field, you can see a lot of green technologies are used for, without human intervention. If you see the agricultural lands and plots, hardly you can see people working there physically. All machines, all are done. All activities are done by machines. Okay, so it's really a matter, really a good thing, not now. Okay, so we'll have to see how this can be implemented and used for the betterment of or improving the quality of life. How it can impact the society and the people and the planet. That's very, very important. And green science is the design, acquisition, and application of research and accumulated knowledge that considers sustainability for all systems. It contains ecology, habitats, what not. Okay, so we have a responsibility and a concern. We should be concerned about what is happening here. So when we talk about all green science, technologies, you can see a lot of green chemistry is one. Green biology is green production, green technology, green statistics. That's our contribution. Green products, green services, green transportation, green customers, green everything. Even in information technology related concept, if you see, a lot of green activities are now used. So there's a full chapter to discuss all these things. So I will get back to you on that. So how do you develop a clean culture? I'm sure that any lean business service activity that is green is guaranteed to be a clean business. And because of that reason, a clean initiative facilitates best business practices, cost-effective products and processes, sustainable thinking and practices. Collaborative and mutual participation become automatically a habit for all. Waste treatment disposal also become a common practice, and increased concern for future generations and livelihood. That is why I think we should concentrate, we should bring all these kind of concepts. So lean, green, clean principles are now combining. So all these three together facilitates the best science, technology, business practices to optimize resources and availabilities. And the principle also had to address the issues concerning sustainable and climate change issues effectively. Yes, we have some case studies, and we have done some exercise also to see how much it is related, correlated, associated, etc. So ultimately, it creates a win-win situation for all of us. And lean, the spirit. Organization works with zero goal of waste, zero harmful emissions, and zero use of non-renewable resources clearly out for their competitors. It is guaranteed. So I have gone through many of the literatures, and I found that in combination, even I could not get any literatures combining all the three. I told you, in isolation you can get literatures and materials possible. Lean materials are possible, green is possible. So in the combination is very difficult. So finally, lean, green and clean thinking in our today activities will help reduce the overall environmental impact and the imbalance of our biodiversity. So from here onwards, I'll use the term lean, green and clean as only LGC. Okay, so please mind you that LGC. So what are going to be the benefits if you have the lean, green concepts, if you use in any process, any activities, any organizational activities, if you use? So what is going to be the benefits? You can see there are going to be increased speed and flexibility. Everything can be executed fast, without any error, without any mistakes, without any variations, etc. etc. See, all this will cause waste. What can involve all employees and their participation, simplifies the process and their execution. Positive results can be obtainable in short time period, can be focused on smaller scale projects, and because it is less scientific, often it can be called trial and error also. Okay, so technicality is not there, but if you see my book, there are going to be 50% technicality. So that's another beauty of this book. So I will connect slowly how statistics can play a role here. So let us see slowly. So the commitment. LGC initiative is a philosophy leading to organizational-based problem-solving approach with reactive and proactive improvements of a process leading to sustainable business practices. So now you can see that there are going to be a problem-solving approach. Ultimately, you have to get everything through data. All informations you have to derive through data and data management. So you need. So that's the reason why it's slowly get into the sustainable business practices. And sustainable business practices should include innovation, improvement, competition, environmental compliance, customer satisfaction, and growth of the organization. Most of the time, people are concentrated only on growth of the organization, growth of their people, organization, profit making, etc., etc. Now, this is much more, it's much ahead of us. So LGC is committed to provide all this, all improvement, competition, environmental compliance, customer satisfaction, etc., along with innovations, etc. So there is going to be a relentless pursuit of perfection. And taken out again, regarding the greenhouse gas emissions, India ranks at the top 4 emitters, behind USA, China, Russia, and Russia. And according to some estimates, China will increase the world's CO2 emissions by 39% by 2030, overtaking the USA's emissions in 2010. Now you can see the state-wise contribution of GHG emissions. Most of the time it is coming from energy. So I told you, I have shown you the type of waste. One of the type of waste is energy wastes. Waste can come all types of energy. We can talk about any kind of energy. Okay, so hydro power, electric, or normal electricity, or water based, or air based. Any talk about any kind of energy. Okay, so the main contributor is that. The industry contributes roughly the next one, 19.9%. Anyway, these are some of the facts and figures. You can get it online also. I just want to make you sensitized towards the importance of sustainability. And these are some of the other interesting facts about the emission problems with regard to the GHG. Okay, according to Harvard physicist Alex Wisner Gross, a Google search accounts for 7 grams of carbon dioxide emissions. And 7 grams of CO2 emissions is equivalent to boiling a pot of tea or driving a car 52 feet. And with 1 billion Google searches, you can see these facts and figures are referring to the new generation technologies and new generation products. Because we have seen a problem up to 2000, and you see after 2000 a lot of differences. Everything has changed. Business has changed, quality perceptions has changed, lot of issues and lot of problems, even almost all the climate related issues, environmental issues, all problems we have seen after last 20 years. And last few days, lot of issues are happening here and there. In India also, because of floods, landslide, tsunami, or many places, flooding is everywhere across the world. You can see how much it is impacting, how much waste it is generating. So this particular report I found really one should think of. We are using computers, and without computer we cannot live. We are using mobile, all electronic gadgets we are using. So you can imagine how much amount of emissions it is creating around us. So it's a matter of concern for all of us. We are very, very careful about our environment, our climate, our planet. Okay. So this particular report says that it's a matter. This report is brought in only to make people to understand the use of computing technology. Okay, so at least for the new generation, people should see that how it works and see how much it is concerned for them. And as I told you, everything is changed. Business for the last many years, last 20 years. So I will put a barometer like here, before 2000 and after 2000. So we are already 20 years past now. You can see a lot of changes happened only because of the information technologies. Okay, it's fast and timely, on-demand, customer-friendly service, business, expanded business base and product service, improve profitability. Everything you talk about, technology advantage, global coverage is, it's nothing. Everybody it's a common practice to go from business people, traveling from India to America, back and Europe, this thing, etc. People are shuttling only for doing business. There used to be a time we used to go from Baroda to Mumbai. That used to be a big thing. Now nothing. Okay, now it's again going from India to America for business activities. That is not a big thing. Okay, so what I mean to say is everything has changed over a period of time. That too, after 2 years, last 20 years, if you say tremendous change. Interestingly, data is also along with that getting bigger and bigger, and that's the reason why we have all business activities to look at. We have big data concept, data science concept, analytics concept, etc. And almost all jobs are posted for analytics now. So it's really a matter of concern for, it's good thing, no doubt. Again, the individual should decide whether it is going to be good or bad. Okay, but things are changing, and that has contributed the change of quality perceptions also among the people. Nowadays, business is all about quality. How fast and quick the delivery is done. That's how people look at quality. Okay, I would say this particular company is good, or they have the quality because they are prompt in their service. So how quick can deliver, how quick the delivery is done, that's how people look at it. How much environmentally friendly principles and features are incorporated in the product service, that's how people look at quality. How much sustainable practices are built in the products or services, many of it. And you can see new generation products are almost all coming up with this kind of things. Quality is inbuilt. You don't need a separate course or separate training for quality in future, because every products and process and every service will be inbuilt with quality. And how much automation is there? So many of now you can see we have now almost every production process is done or manned by automatic machines or automatic technology, automations. So that's people will ask for. In future, people will definitely ask for, does this product has this kind of characteristics or not? If that is the case, I will have. Otherwise, I will not. The competition is so high, so far. It is growing. Things are changing fast. Customers' preferences are changing. Tastes are preferring every now and then. Today, whatever we feel like good, may not be tomorrow. It's good for the same products, good for the same customer. So we'll have to have a different product, a variety of products and services available to us. So things are changing. And the same way, how much lean, green, and clean aspects are involved in this. Maybe in future, people will ask that also. I'm sure. Okay, so we'll have to understand now what are the quality dimensions. It's a very important thing. I have placed it nicely in the form of lean, green, and clean. You can see in every product and every business activities, you can identify what are the dimensions, quality dimensions associated with lean, green, and clean. And it's very maybe there will be some overlapping and here and there. You can place here and there. No, that's not a big issue. You can do. For instance, here is two examples: mobiles and LEDs here bulbs. You can see mobiles. You can see lean quality dimensions like performance, reliability, durability, mobility, accessibility, acceptability, conformance, like that. Green quality dimensions, if you talk about size, communication, sustainability, features, eco-friendly or not, serviceability or not, aesthetics, variety, relaxing, clean activity. Again, if you look at the dimensions, it can be simple, flexible, technology. I mean, color, safety, texture, everything you can see. See, this is possible with every product, every thing we are using in our day-to-day life. If this is the case, if you are able to identify, you can also try to bring out, or you can find out the mitigating issues. I mean, you can resolve automatically what could be. Suppose there is a problem, then how to mitigate that. So that's also possible. The same way I have discussed so many other examples also, LED, CFL bulbs, etc. Now you will know there is a philosophy behind why this is. These are required to identify the quality dimensions in the form of lean, green, and clean. Okay. Now to understand again more about quality, I think we need to bring the issues regarding variation. That's where the secret of statistics comes. A variation is inherent in everything in varying amounts. Maybe sometimes more, sometimes less, like that. And it's a rule of nature. Rule of nature. We can't go without variation. It's a fact. It's a fact, and it's a rule of law. Okay. For any organizational activities talk about this one. And they usually appear as a result of, very interesting, they are usually appear as a result of chance variation or uncertain events. And what are those? Change of season, voltage fluctuations, breakdown of machines, traffic blocks, inconsistency in time, poor quality of products, unnecessary movements, measurement inconsistency, and so on. Lot many factors. Everything is uncertain. We know, we believe, and we should believe that yes, nothing is perfect, and everything comes with some amount of variation. And the impact can be sometimes severe, sometimes can be nominal also. So that's a different issue. So how do you account for, how do you measure it? That's a big question now. And disregarding the existence of variation can lead to incorrect decisions on significant topics. So this is where we need to pay attention for variations and all those things. And whatever may be the type of variation or what in size of variation you will have, quality will be suffered and will finally lead to waste and variations. So waste and variation is a part and parcel of our life. Okay, so variation or random variation you talk about, that is due to uncertain circumstances. So that uncertainty part, if you want to deal with, you want to predict, if you want to estimate, monitor, control, validate, assess, etc., we have to bring statistics into the play and the role play. It's very, very important. And this is where the statistical discussion comes over. But I am not going to discuss any statistical portions here today, because I have made this presentation completely non-technical. Okay, so refer to my book, you can get a lot of statistical discussion. Also, connecting with problems related to green, clean. Okay, so I invite all of you to read that book. Okay, so sources of variation, we have already discussed so many issues, and we can see it can be due to poor design, changing needs, measurement system, insufficient process capabilities and skills and behaviors, etc., etc. And that again you can understand to some extent. Look at the same process we have discussed, I have shown you earlier also, a lean process. Okay, now it's very clear that every process has variation. Question is how much? If there is a presence of variation, then how do you account for, how do you measure it? That's the next question. Again, there will be a lot of scope for statistical tools implementation. Okay, but again, I have not used so much of the statistics for all these things, but I have limited very few discussion on statistics. And you can see now the uncertainty part can be possible. If you have the information flow and physical flow, if there is a clear distinction, you can identify how that can come. So you will have to count. Most of the time it is associated with the process. Okay, there will be some amount of variation coming through inputs, definitely. Okay, outputs definitely comes after the whole process completes. Okay, so that to some extent, that is always going to remain once there is a variation in the output. Okay, so accounting for the variation is very important, and that's why you have to bring it. So the simple, if you are bringing up a simple process with all connectivity, where inputs with associated with the correct processes, then definitely you can account for those uncertainty part. So a lean enabled process facilitates the identification of all uncertainty affecting the quality problems. So that's a very important, that's why that particular process identification is done. So moving on, so we have now chapter 3 contains some detailed discussion on science and technologies associated with lean, green and clean. So okay, we have discussed all this in detail, and then finally I found some detailed guidelines, quality guidelines for this. So I think I will not wait for too much time, so you can simply look at it. Now I will come up with some models. So lean, green supply chain management system. Okay, so you can see this is how supply chain management is actually a management concept, where how do you prepare your inventory, how do you dispatch, how do you deliver, how do you connect your customers with your technical requirements, and how do you connect with your customers with outputs and inputs, etc. So here's a very interesting model which I prepared, that is the plan, identify, evaluate, implement, then verify and sustain the whole supply chain. It's a very interesting model, which I found very effective model, just like a Six Sigma process when you look at. So there is a step, you plan all your activities, identify the problems associated with that, define whatever you want to do, your objectives, clearly identify the associated inputs and outputs, then evaluate the procurement, all the procurement patterns, it's a general term I have used here for supply chain, and implement the solutions and prepare a viable quality improvement program for the ongoing supply chain. Verify and ensure that the ongoing supply chain meets the customer requirements, and then get back, sustain the progress and the improvement, etc., and continue the chain. Okay, so if you feel that this particular diagram has anything to do with coronavirus, it's only a coincidence, please bear with me. Okay, so quality management system. So we'll discuss now something in detail about quality management. There are a lot of quality improvement models we have discussed. Some of them are old, some of them are new generation techniques. SPC and SQC techniques, of course, people use for quality improvements. There are a lot of other interesting techniques like Kaizen, it's a continuous improvement technique. Total quality management is a big concept of quality improvement, quality monitoring techniques, etc., etc. Productive maintenance, etc. 5S plus safety and security. 5S is actually a Japanese concept. You sort, set in orders, shines, sustain, like that it goes. So 3M, M stands again a Japanese concept. Muda, Mura, Muri. Muda means waste. Muda means waste. Mura means unevenness. Inconsistency. Muri means inconsistency. Okayoke means mistake proofing, setup reduction, just-in-time approach, Kanban. Many often we discuss some of these techniques in statistics, usual statistics classes. Okay, so some of the techniques are specific to Six Sigma concepts and the SPC, SPC techniques. So I think I invite all of you to see the chapter 4 for the detailed discussion on that. Then comes the quality assessment methods, where we have a lot of assessment methods done using ISO 9000 series, environmental management system, co-management and audits. I prefer and I advocate and I recommend that people should have all kinds of audit in an organization. Emission auditing, carbon auditing, energy auditing is very, very important to understand how much is the waste it is generating. First of all, you get an estimate of what you are spending, how much you are spending, how and what way it is spent, the whole thing is spent. And at the same time, you will also come to know how much the waste is generated through each one. Okay, so that's why emission auditing, carbon management, environmental stress screening, there is a technical part where some models, statistical probability models, everything comes here. Climate models, of course, is a very big concept, very big topic of discussion. Life cycle assessment is another interesting management principle, cleaner production assessment, etc., etc. In a very detailed, critically, all these things are done in chapter 5. So let us now move on with some new business models. We are all aware of some kind of e-commerce, e-governance, or e-governance. Right? Everything, it's a very good concept. It's a very good concept. Whether you like it or not, that's a different issue. I'm sure many people won't agree with this kind of methods. Okay, but they may not be, accommodate with that kind of, methods. That's a reason. They're either not comfortable with working with that kind of methods or technology. Even now also, even 50 people of 50 or 60 years old, they are not very much comfortable with the computing or computer or computing facilities, etc. That happens. So some of these methods, I would say they are all new generation methods which are going to be the order of the day in future, I'm sure. Lean statistics, reverse logistics, benchmarking and reverse engineering, reliability profile engineering, simulation and process modeling. Many often you see everything is now simulated. Automatic machines are used, robotic machines are used for all these kind of things. Even statistical model. When you talk about simulation, I'm sure definitely you have to bring statistics and mathematical concepts. Lean green concepts, of course, I'm getting into that. Slowly I'm connect all these things. And Industry 4, we are now Industry 4. We have now 5th generation technology and fast. When you talk about Industry 4, 5th generation connectivity, etc., it's all talking about speed and the network fastness, etc., etc. So it's a new generation business. I told you even earlier also I mentioned that quality now is going to be a part of every activity. You don't need a separate treatment for quality now. So in future, everything you can believe blindly, you can believe everything. Yes, there is going to be some amount of quality present in every activities and every methods and every tools. Okay, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, DL stands for deep learning techniques. All computing techniques are now going to change our life. The way we think, everything is going to change. Okay, blockchain, Bitcoin concepts, cryptocurrency concepts, etc. We know it's all online currencies, no physical form, nothing. Okay, transact everything through online. That's all. You have you have money. You may be millions. Where it is, nobody knows. It's all stored in somewhere in cloud or somewhere. Okay, this is what is going to be the models. All models are going to change, impact our life. Definitely, again, whether you agree or not, whether it is going to impact in a positive way or negative way, that's, I think, the individual should decide whether it is going to. Statistical tools and techniques are going to be essential for all this decision making. And green statistics, to some extent, I would like to show you, give you some account of that. It's a more data-based and measurement-based approach of performance and capability values of the process. How do you evaluate the process? We used to teach process capability indices and all those things in the class, usually SQC class, etc. But it's much more. This could be defined as the systematic collection and analysis of data that could lead to assessing environmental impacts of the operations of it. You should also see that how operations are done. You should also see that how a manufacturing is done. How much environmental compliance it has and how much it is going to generate, how much it is going to impact the benefit of the people. All aspects it includes. Can be of qualitative as well as quantitative nature, and it's also emphasize the importance of green delivery management and sustainable business practices. It's also, to some extent, they also address the issues regarding climate and environmental issues. Okay, so there's a full chapter, complete discussion, detailed discussion, chapter 6. And again, from there we have found some other model, that is what is called green statistics supply chain model. Just a revision of the previous model which I have shown here. So here plan your activities, measure. So here comes the here stress is given to statistics. You have to make everything data based or measurement based. Once you have a data based or measurement based, definitely you can have statistics. You can bring statistical principles to act on. Data will tell you what to do and how to do and how to proceed. Okay, and so here more data based, strong in the planning, measuring, analyze the problem, performing the activities, capability analysis, preparing the standard operating procedures, implementing the solutions, developing efficient quality improvement program. It's all for, all for the betterment of the, bringing the output in the best form, without error, without waste, without variations, control and sustain the whole and continue this. So this is how the green statistics supply chain works, and according to that, the quality certification guidelines are also provided how to go about with those ideas. Okay, so here again, I will not, just for a few seconds I will wait for, and please go through it fast and I will move. Okay, so you can see that how the effect, when you talk about an organization, there are a lot of activities, there are a lot of processes, there are a lot of departments. If you look at departments, sales department, purchase department, delivery department, dispatch department, accounts department, finance. See, every activity is supposed to be communicated and coordinated. If there is no coordination, there is no communication, definitely the quality management program will fail. To have a good quality management program which helps the people for their better life process, better living process, we need to be more focused on these kind of aspects. Make it measure, have it. You can have your own, at your own home, you can have measurement-based evaluations of all kinds of energy consumption. And we know energy consumption when you talk about. It's all types of conversion. Look at number of telephone, how many, mobile phones are charged every day. Number of mobile instruments are charged. All TV is always 24 hours it is on. All many other machines, automatic machine for washing machine, talking about all other activities you can see most of the time it is automatic. See the amount of energy consumed. Okay, we come to know only after when you get the electricity bill. That's all. But anyway, I'm just on an off track. I'm just telling. It's not the way it should be. So have a lot of issues, concern. Make sure that yes, you are making some measurement. You are monitoring the things. Okay, only then the process, the improvement is possible. If you really want to sustain with your product, process, people, planet, or what you in the environment, everything you talk about, it should work in tandem. If there is a disconnect, definitely there is a harm for all. If there is a disconnect, definitely there is going to be a harm for all. So in chapter 7, we have a detailed discussion on the promotion of lean, green, clean activities, and this is how you can do. And most often we know reduce, reuse, and recycle is a common philosophy, and people always go with emphasis on the first one. Generally, reduce the consumption, everything. I've already shown you what are those: money, power, energy, comforts, facilities, infrastructure, logistics. Talk about anything, and also use. I added 2 more R, that is recovery and resist policy, to withstand the end effect of the first 3 R's. Because if you are using reduce, recycle, and reuse principle, definitely there will be a lot of gain. So that to resist and to sustain, we need 2 more R, like recovery and resist. Promote e-business and e-commerce activity, I have already mentioned somewhere. Or for all transaction service business practices, have own sources of waste disposal and renewable methods. And yes, it is also going on. Some people have their own ways and means of having waste disposal and renewable methods. Identify the use, necessity, and source of energy in each activity. It's a very, very important thing. You should identify the use, necessity, and source of energy in each activity. Measure and monitor it. Use environmentally friendly products for safe use, consumption, and practice. That's another issue. And promote multi-user transportation and all those things. So many such issues and so many such news comes up in electronic medias and print medias quite often. So I think it's a time to be. See, at least take a note of. At least I request all of you to take a note of it and see how best you can be a part of the improvement, the quality. How best you can be a part of the quality improvement. That's what. And monitor also the carbon management, emissions, and GHG emissions, etc., etc. Safeguard flora and fauna of your ecological system. There are some of these general concepts also I included there. And be content and learn to compromise with the availability of natural resources. And finally, you see, do much more with much less. It's a philosophical way of thing. So I think I request you to understand what it means and to do. Chapter 8 is a detailed discussion on many quality concepts, quality tools, like 7 quality tools or 8 quality tools. Talk about many things we have discussed there. Okay, so it's all more of strategies. Okay, so we have assessment model we have seen, we have improvement models we have seen, then the methods of promoting the lean, green, clean activities we have seen, and now it's time to discuss how do you deploy the deployment. It's a time to deploy. Okay, so a lot of issues regarding the there is a cause and effect diagram, quality function deployment, Pareto chart, normal distribution makes importance, and how it applies to the quality decision making, and etc. Design of experiment is also discussed. Control chart is also discussed. So this is a whole discussion, and it involves a lot of statistical principles. Okay, so I will not discuss that again. I am skipping those discussions here. So please refer to my book. You can get how that is connected with the sustainable quality of life. Okay, now quality function deployment is another concept which I have discussed. I think I need some specific note on quality function deployment. Okay. It's a systematic way of documenting and breaking down customer needs into manageable and actionable detail. It's a very powerful tool. It's actually a management tool where a group of people sit together and work out how to bring the quality. It's a matter of connecting customer requirements with various customer requirements with various technical specifications of the product. Okay, so it's a rigorous exercise rather. It's a planning methodology that organizes relevant information to facilitate better decision making and a way of reducing the uncertainty involved in the product and process design. You have already seen the uncertainty part previously. You can see the impact, and sometimes it can impact very severe. So to have that, to understand that, so you need to work on how, while designing a product, how the technical specifications connect with the customer requirements. It also promotes cross-functional teamwork and gets the right people together fairly to work efficiently and effectively to meet customers' needs. It's also a structured methodology to identify and translate customer needs and wants into technical requirements and measure, and everything can be converted into measurable features and characteristics. It's a very, very interesting, powerful technology for improvement, for quality improvement. Quality is guaranteed. There is no doubt about it. Okay, and this is how it is prepared. This is just a skeleton of. This is just a one diagram. This is what is called a house of quality. You can see on the left panel, need 1, need 2, need 3. That is all talking about what are the requirements from the customers. What are the requirements? Because customers' specifications. So what are you talking about? All those issues. So all those are kept there. And look at the how 1, how 2, how 3. They are the technical specifications. Now this exercise will connect all those technical, the customer requirements with the technical specification and see how it is correlated, associated, and how the improvement takes place, whether it is left or right or up or down, etc., etc. And then you slowly rank all those requirements based on the technical specification with appropriate weights and all those things. And interestingly, you can also compare. Look at the last side of the panel. Last but one, comparison with competitor. You can also compare how your product works or how your product competes or how the competitor's product works or what is the status of their product in the market. So that connection, that can also be done here in this particular exercise. So your product, how that performs against a competitor's product, and with that you can bring out the best quality product. And there are a lot of other things, notations also shown here. So with this complete only a single exercise, or you can say the first exercise, then you will go on constructing the many other series of house of quality. Okay, look at one of these. This is what is shown in the previous. This is just one of this is what is shown here. Okay, this is one. Okay, so you can see that this is watts. This particular part you can see these are all watts, the customer requirements, and these are technical how it connects. Okay, so what is happening is this first exercise will tell you how the what is connected with the how, and that how becomes the what for the next house of quality. You can see that how it goes, and this kind of house of quality is drawn in series to finally arrive at a conclusion regarding the best product and the quality product. Quality is assured. It is simply a deployment. That's only we have to see. So the relationship building automatically takes place here. And finally, you have the best product in your hand. Okay, so that and plus many other exercises also done in that particular chapter. So look at that. So here comes the chapter 9. It's all about case studies. In this particular chapter, I have discussed 3 case studies, and one of the case studies, the most important, which I have myself created, and with the theory and the philosophy, whatever you can say. So that's all about quality work. So what is quality work? You can see if you do a literature survey, waste work, quality work, to some extent is discussed all in connection with the Toyota production system. So I did an exercise. In fact, I did a way of looking at from a lean, green, clean activities. So what is quality work? Ultimately, as the name suggests, it's a holistic method of finding solutions to problems while walking around the workplace and communicating directly with the people with a purpose to detect, prevent, and mitigate the quality issues. It's a very interesting and very powerful tool if you can apply it in your institution. Okay, I feel that this will have a very potential benefit if you apply it in a service field, service industries like education, service industry when you talk about banking institutions or finance institutions, etc., etc. So it can give a very good impact. Okay, now you can see the checklist form. This is checklist form. So there is the case study I have given the field from also how it works for a particular organization. So you can see the waste type on the left panel, overproduction. All those 7-8 weights we have identified, discussed previously. You can see the details and observations specific to lean. So what you need to do is, let me tell you in quickly, what you need to do is, see, you have a lot of meetings and this thing. I prefer that one of your meeting, if you are holding a meeting, because many often private organizations often hold meetings in their organization premises. Okay, so what I want that one of your meetings should be kept outside. Just walk it. You might have seen a talk show like walk the talk like kind of show. This is something like that. Get out of your office, walk around, meet your people, see how the people work, see is all with this particular checklist form, and note down what are the lean activities going on, what are the green activities going on, what are the if you feel that there is some problems, then see how best it can be eliminated. So also in the next, there's a column called ideas to eliminate. Then again, if you feel that there's a scope for improvement, give that particular note there in ideas to improve. There's another column. Then finally you have the final recommendation or actions. So this is how you can do. It's a very good exercise if you can do it. Definitely, I'm sure there is 100%. Okay, so this is possible. I found I actually artificially created something which I feel that for my institution, if I've been asked to, then this is how it can be done. Okay, solve problem. So what are the benefits of quality work? Improve the familiarity of process, products, and services. You can come to know what is good. Many often the higher-ups, the CEOs, managers, if you talk about the private organizations, or you talk about the education institutions or any other service industries or service, this thing, you can see different types of, every sector have their own way of looking at it, their own way of working habit, culture, etc., etc. Okay, so what you need to do is, the higher-ups generally are not aware of what is going on. Okay, they are at the top, they may be working, there are some CEOs and managers, they do work along with the customers and their workers, and they understand the process and products and these things. But this is one of the best occasions where you can have that particular familiarity. Increase commitment to quality and safety. You yourself become a part of it. You are slowly becoming a movement, a part of that particular movement of quality and safety. Increase a better understanding of the operation and supply chain. Increase people manage engagement and participation. It's all it's very easy. It doesn't require any hard or technical know-how or anything like that. You can strengthen data-based information reporting for quality and safety. And develop a culture of open communication and transparency. Identify knowledge and share good practice. When you're while walking, while talking, while discussing with while meeting the people, you can share your experience. You can have knowledge development, etc., etc. So best business practice, that's what ultimately it is going to be. Support proactive approach to minimizing risk. Many times we see organizations working under various risk factors, etc., etc. So this is one of the exercises where you can see and understand how and what circumstances people are working, and if in case there is some problems of incidents of any kind happens, and then how to mitigate, how to reduce, and all those things, etc., can be understood. So that's a very, very important exercise rather. Again with a philosophical touch. I have given in the book. And finally, we have the chapter 10 in the name, Moving Towards Sustainable Quality Life. I think I need to see a quote from the famous Albert Einstein. Okay, please read. You can understand, if I had 1 hour to save the world, I would spend 55 minutes defining the problem and only 5 minutes finding the solution. I think this best suits to this particular diagram also. So VA versus NVA. VA stands for value added activities and NVA stands for non-value added activities. Okay, with technical, this is some amount of technicality, some amount of statistics, computations, etc. comes here. Okay, but still I avoid all those technical discussions here. So this is a reference from Harry and Mann 2010. So comparison, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, that is all about the waste, different types of waste. And you can see most of the time it happens, 95% of the time it is going to be non-value added activities. Okay, so it will be interesting. So for example, in our institution, for example, education institution, we have selection process, recruitment process, placement process, etc., etc. Apart from admission process or a registration process, they are all value added. No doubt. Even recruitment process, we need to recruit people, but as per the technology, as per the philosophy of lean or green, I would say they are all non-value added activities. So, what are non-value added? Identification of value added and non-value added activities or component is a backbone of any quality improvement activities. So, if you really want to improve quality, what you need to do is convert the percentage of NVA to VA. But very difficult, no doubt. It's not that easy to convert a 95% to even 50% to a value addition kind of things. Very difficult. And value-added activities transform the product, service, or transaction in a way that is meaningful to the customer. In other words, value-added activities are those activities that are valuable from the external point of view of the customer. It's very, very important. For example, I always cite a good example, an example to my students when I teach Six Sigma paper. So a simple thing, for example, you have seen ATM machines. Most of the time you can see, in India I have seen, every time, in every machine in front of the machine, a security guard is sitting. Now what is the purpose of that guy? Suppose something goes wrong with the machine, will that person will be able to do that, fix the problem? I doubt. In fact, he is actually a nuisance. It's a very simple exercise. That particular person, anyway, I'm not saying I'm not against appointing a security personnel or a security guard for manning ATM machines, etc., etc. But why do we need? If you are sure, that means you are not sure about your machines working, the situation of that. So if you are sure that it is okay, the machine will never have any problem or never have any security breach, etc. I think that person becomes redundant in that case. So value addition, what is actually, he cannot create any kind of value addition in that particular situation. So in that way, if you look at in any organization, many types of non-value addition activities. So non-value added activities are that adds no value to the process. Okay, and there are those activities that are required by a business to execute. As I told you earlier also, we need a recruitment process, placement process, etc., etc. Although they are not adding directly any value to the customer. Okay, to some extent you will look at from this from a business angle, and then only you can understand how it's going to be a non-value added activities and what is going to be the value added activities, etc. And not also that waste points us to the problems within the system. And the more the value added activities, the waste it contributes. More the value added, less the waste it contributes. Okay, so that's the best thing. So if you can convert the non-value added activities to a value added activities, chances are that you will be reducing the amount of waste. So try and do that. And the best way to identify the non-value added activities in the process is by drawing a value stream mapping. That's again a management tool which you need to do, and it actually facilitates to see how material, processes and information flows as per requirement, and the prioritization of continuous improvement activities takes place during the value stream, and it also become a basis for the facility layout and the elimination of waste drastically. So it's a very powerful tool. It's non-technical, one can use without any problem. Here's a simple visualization or tutorial way of doing. Just imagine you have 3-4 processes here. Say for example, cutting is a process, stamping is another process, painting is another process, packaging is another process. You know this whole process, definitely it is connected with the supplier input process, etc., etc. Okay, so you can see how the whole process and how much time each process takes to complete, and how many units are processed in each process, etc., etc. You can see all those details here. So understand only this much part of this particular diagram, and you can see the detail out. You can how much it is contributing. So the one which is down is called it is all in minutes. You can see the clear distinction between value added and non-value added. It's actually it can be prepared through software also. And is it possible? The question is it possible to eliminate non-value added activities from the process? Yes, to some extent it is possible. Okay, you identify and eliminate bottlenecks, or what are the problems coming up, what are the issues we have if your process is running, for example, or even if the process is idle, then also you can look for what are the bottlenecks and the issues. Decrease wait time and on queue time, you can say. Many often the things will be in queue. Many often with either for something people waiting for, maybe the products or line is waiting for, dispatch is waiting for, many things, many often it is in queue. So decrease that wait. Increase process efficiency. That's the best way. Increase the process efficiency. No doubt you need expertise. You need expertise. You need expertise, experienced people for that. Simplify the process. Allow more time for conducting value-added work. So in that way, the quality the deployment to some extent is possible by identifying value-added activities and non-value-added activities in the process. And very closely associated with these value-added, non-value-added activities, the cost of quality and cost of poor quality. And the cost incurred to ensure the quality is maintained at certain level or acceptable level is called the cost of quality. And this is associated with every process. Every process you can see some amount of COQ and some amount of COPQ. The same way, in the case of VA and NBA, we have discussed that NBA, if you are able to convert into VA, your quality is definitely going to be improved, and it automatically decrease the amount of waste. The same way, if that is the case, in the same way, if you are able to reduce the cost of poor quality, and definitely there going to be a drastic increase in the quality, quality of the process. So this is how it is going to be, and this is how it is compared in terms of quantitative. So these are some of the concepts I am discussing where it needs some technical know-how. And most of the time, the technical know-how is coming from statistics. Okay, here is the quality level. Suppose you are at quality level 2, for example. It's a strong statistical computation is required there. Okay, and just for explanation purpose, I have taken this table here. You can see how much the quality yield is going to be. It is going to be 69%. So from 1 level, 2 to 3 level, you can see how much it is increasing. To 4 level, it is 99.4%. Finally, at 6 level, you can see 99.9997%. That means you are now having world class. Cost of poor quality is absolutely zero. No more. Everything is cost of quality. It's all about cost of quality. So all conversion is taking place here. But it's not easy. It's not an easy task at all. Getting into a 6 levels sigma level is very, very difficult. The same comparison for industry sectors, because many of them we see the comparison between manufacturing, production, automobile, service industries, and look at the cost type: internal quality failures, external quality failures, appraiser cost of inefficient processes, prevention costs, hidden costs, etc., etc. So you can see across all the sectors. Look at the service sector, where we belongs to service sector, education institutions. We are not producing as such anything in number. Something in physical form. That's why we fall under that particular category. You can see most of the time, the 40% of the time, it is going to be internal quality failures. Yes, it is true. It's very true. Sometimes it will be more than that, 40%. Okay, and slowly in the other configuration, if you see after 100%, you can see how it will go. Okay, so the cost of quality and cost of poor quality. If you really want to improve quality, definitely there is a dire need of reducing cost of poor quality, or at least you should be able to convert COPQ to COQ. In that case, again, there is the quality is guaranteed. And here is the comparison of improvement methods. We have, I have discussed only LGC. There are many other improvement methods like PQM, PDCA. PDCA stands for Plan, Do, Check, Act. Lean, then Lean Six Sigma. Lean manufacturing, some of you might have heard of. So Lean, even in the introduction where Professor Kalankar also mentioned about Lean, yes, there are a lot of Lean concepts coming in various contexts. So Lean concepts, but the return is not up to the mark. LGC, for example, LGC, okay, the return improvement potential is 70% to 90%. It's very huge, no doubt. But of course, Sigma is the higher one, no doubt. It's going to be very high percentage. Okay, so LGC is actually, look at the last column, it's focused on waste elimination, problem solving, sustainable practices, best business practices, etc. Okay, so you have some advantage here. In LGC, you have some advantages. You can focus, you can address the issues pertaining to sustainable business practices. Now the question is, how can you bring this much yield or improvement? How much or how can you implement the LGC concepts? Definitely it should come through leadership and people engagement. It's a very important component. It's also usually discussed in business classes. Okay, so quality is not just the responsibility of one person or one department in the organization as it once was. It's not like that. It has changed. You've seen the contexts and the situations where every perception has changed. People look at quality, everything. There is an amount of quality, but still people want more. We want more. People are ready to pay extra also for it. People have no depth of money. But once upon some 20 years ago, the situation was totally different. People never ready to pay for any extra cost for quality. Okay, but quality concept was not that. People were not concerned about quality, but people are concerned about quantity rather. Now people are concerned about quality, and if there is an extra cost associated with it, people are ready to pay. And inspired people definitely is going to be an asset for any organization, and they take positive steps in all-round improvement in quality, and are greatly influenced by the nature of work they perform, and they can influence others to follow. And good leadership can engage people for optimum use with their management, communication, problem solving, and planning skills. It includes all aspects of it. If you really are running an institution, you as a leader or you at the helm of affairs should see that how it is managed, how you are establishing the communication, how you are getting into problem solving contests and approaches, and how you are planning things, etc. So being simple, humble, and flexible, this is my favorite, which makes you understand your people and ecosystem more, and you become committed to sharing the tenets of joy with everyone around. Okay, so with that, I will now slowly conclude the session. So here is some others from I found very important quotes and this thing, etc. So they have their own perceptions and all those things. I am not going to discuss too much in detail again. Okay, so this is another perception about the quality and all those things. Okay, so I think this is very important. And quality of life, according to the Rio Plus 20 summit held in June 2012, stresses that every organization should strive for continuous value enhancement for the whole of society. And one should focus on those developments that meet the needs of the present without compromising future generations' ability to meet their own needs. And that is the real sustainable development. According to United Nations Development Program, for sustainable development to be achieved, it is crucial to harmonize three core elements: economic growth, social inclusion, environmental protection. This is just to make a conclusion part of this I prepared, and I'm showing in front of you. So I have not done any detailed discussion or any detailed this thing on this sustainable development plans or any of this. Just a mention in my book. You can only see just a mention about this. These elements are interconnected and are crucial for the well-being of individuals and societies, and with that objective only UNDP came out with the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, on this particular subject there are plenty of materials, so I found it is not good to include also in the paper. There is no need, otherwise people may say that it is all talking about sustainable development goals, etc. I have not included any discussion on these issues. I have only catched a line of reference, that's all. Okay, so now I found from my own this, I found that this is how you can, at least these are some other recommendation. I see the paper book, there's a detailed discussion, planning, and the cross-reference, etc., and see that. And I found this is how you can have at least sustainable quality life. Prepare a mission statement for your life. Be grateful to all natural resources and its blessings. The environment and society be part of your life's priority list. Most of the time, we are concerned about our family, our health, money, entertainment, facilities, comforts, etc. I want that you please add in your priority, these two terms also, environment and society, also in your priority list. Do not miss any opportunities and challenges for any improvement. Accept everything as a blessing. Respect time and value others. Very, very important, which I follow and do and direct our students also to respect time. Use technology for better living. This is for new generation people. Use technology for better living and management of time. And you know how much it is misused and how much problems we have with the new generation technologies and etc. And I think it is a time to make them also educated on technology and technological development systems. Adopt and follow a healthy database management system. I think you should all become a statistician at home. Should have at least have some database measurement, at least have something, some additions, some deletions, subtractions, division should be known to all. Okay, at least see how much you are spending, how much you are gaining, how much you are profit, or you look at everything from that angle. And all quality improvements for better use and sustain, use everything to a minimum and promote the concepts of lean, green and clean sciences. So with that, I think I should say Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Okay, thank you very much. Before you leave, I again request all of you to take a look. Everything in excess is waste. These are some of the acknowledgements which I feel I need to give at least a special thanks for Dr. Aruna Ben Joshi, Professor of Botany from our own university. She provided some materials on green biology. Dr. Bhavana Ben Trivedi provided me some materials on green chemistry. Venkatesh did the whole reading and the language corrections, etc., etc. And the editor, I have to meet because I published a lot of short communications of topics of popular topics, or you can say small communications. And many of my publications were published by this particular. It's a small, bulletin kind of thing. So they have their own journals in statistics, Indian Association for Political IAPQR transactions. So I have asked for their permission to publish in using in my book. So they have given the permission, and of course Shamim Muhammad is a senior editor of Mathematical Sciences. He brought up a lot of comments for my review of the book, and humbly suggested some changes in the title, as I informed earlier also. So the title, in fact, I found this is very suitable because this was one of, they gave me 3 options, 3 choices, and from that we selected finally that this is going to be the title of this book. And in this process, anyway, thank you. In this process, I discussed and I met, and you see, many people influenced me for preparing this book. Okay, this is actually, I told you in the beginning, that it's a kind of lecture notes prepared at the undergraduate level. Now I feel that it's have a standard, because without any standard, Springer nature kind of publisher will not publish any book. So I had a lot of exercise and hard work I put in last 2 years, in fact. Because of Corona, I think in the lockdown and all those things, I could do much better than. Otherwise, probably it would have been derailed somewhere. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Over to.
Yes, sir.
Rupal. Over to Rupal. Okay, yes, Rupal.
Yes, sir. Great presentation, sir. First of all, I would just like to comment, and the last slide especially I like the most for everyone. That is, you should have a mission for your own life and have these 3 concepts. Everyone, if not for any other sense, but everyone can at least apply for themselves. I think I can see the Chancellor Madam MSU in our Google Meet.
Really?
So is Madam there?
Madam, namaste. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to.
If Madam is there, Madam can please unmute audio and video, because someone, Chancellor MSU, I can see in the participant list.
So grateful to her. Thank you very much.
Can I know whether Madam has joined or who has joined with this name? I don't know, I'm not sure actually, because audio and video are mute, but if Madam was at all there.
Maybe she has gone away for some time.
Yeah, so if Madam's presence was there, then we are really grateful to Madam. And we now invite questions from the participants, right, sir? Can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
invite
please.
few
Yes,
questions?
yes, please do.
Yes.
Yes, please do. Please
Yeah,
do.
even I have
Yes.
typed the message to the YouTube watchers whether
Yes.
if they have any
Yes.
questions
I'm
they
really
can
glad
type
to
and I
receive.
can read
Yes.
the questions from them for them.
Right. I'm really glad to have some comments from the audience.
Yeah.
I would like to have some constructive comments, I mean suggestions
Yes.
also, so that in future it may needed. If I can go for revision or something. So
Yeah.
maybe they can send privately also to my email. I don't mind.
Right.
And we'll also record. This is anyway recorded in YouTube,
Yes.
so all information will be there. So you can also, in case there is any strong comments or suggestions, so we can, if needed, we can also reply them privately also. So this is just simply an attempt to bring, to sensitize the people. And again, let me again give a couple of minutes, because my experience with the batch, one batch I have completed for this course. So I had a very nice experience. There were only 26 people joined for that program. And they, in every lecture, after every lecture, we did an exercise also. I gave some exercise to have some clean, green, clean initiative for your campus or for your home. I asked them only to have you first for your home, then for your society if needed, or at least for campus if you can do something in this particular line. Then they came up with a lot of suggestions. And interestingly, we had a project evaluation also. In fact, that course was evaluated continuously. And I offered some topics for project execution, and they did it. And that was really a wonderful thing. And that too, they were in second year of BSc, and they did a very good job. So I'm very grateful to them. Thank you very much.
Yes, any participant, if you have any comment or something to say, you can please raise your hand.
Professor Muralidharan,
Yes.
how the statistical methodology would differ for lean, green, clean methodology as compared to statistical methodology for Six Sigma?
Yes, yeah. See, it is actually not differing. We cannot change or we cannot manipulate the statistical technologies. Right. Now, what we have is, we have situations and contexts where problems and measurements were identified through lean activities, green activities, or even clean activities. And how do you bring it to the forefront before a decision maker? That's the main question. So we have to use some graphical presentations, some diagrammatic presentations. Sometimes you may need to use some descriptive statistics for compiling the data, compiling the informations. We may need to do some kind of statistical assessment, monitoring. For example, we have data. You can imagine control chart, for example. It is for monitoring and controlling the quality and the variations. Okay, so variation is a part and parcel of every process, whether it is lean, green, or clean. So as such, the statistical tools cannot be differing from the usual statistical way. So here we use the same statistical techniques for implementing the problems associated with the lean, green. I hope I have answered comfortably.
Yeah, and another thing is that what I understand about Six Sigma is that Six Sigma is a methodology as well as philosophy.
Right.
Whereas what I understood about lean, green, clean is more of a philosophy and less of a methodology.
Right.
Is my understanding okay? Correct.
Right. Correct. So lean, green, clean all together becomes a philosophy, not too much. That's the reason I told you. I have given very less focus on the technical aspects. Okay. Now, Six Sigma, when you talk about, is very rigorous. Is almost 70% is technical. A lot of statistics is going in, and even Six Sigma level, quality level calculation. You can see even some of the slides which I have shown on a later part in tabular form. You can see a lot of calculations are there. Maybe simple calculations. See, I am not using any hardcore calculations. See, I have used all simple calculations which is possible, where the people who are at the management, suppose they wanted to initiate this kind of programs, definitely they should be able to. They don't need any statistical expertise for this.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, Professor
I
Srivastava.
think what discussion Kalamkar and you are having, it is just, I think it is a new application of the existing statistical tool. No new development as such of the statistical tools or the methodology, but I
Right.
think you are applying the already existing statistical methods.
Right.
Maybe
I'm
we
not
can call
using
it as
any.
a
Yeah.
new application
Yes.
of the statistical tool in a different context.
Exactly. Yes. I'm not using any new
No, but
techniques
it's a
of
new
statistics. I'm
application.
not into this. Yes.
No, I'm not saying it's new, but it's a new application. That's what my
New application in new
understanding.
form. Yes. New format.
Yeah,
Applications in new
definitely. And
format.
because this meeting, as you said, is being recorded and the time limit may be there, I had a couple of thoughts in my mind after listening to your whole presentation. Maybe we can discuss it on our tea table or in the department itself.
Yes, we can always discuss this.
Let us not eat away the common time, because so many things are there which we can discuss at length now.
Okay.
Some ideas have come into my mind also, because I was also preparing some manual for IGNU for some other things. So we'll discuss it. But I
Okay.
think it is just the new application of the existing statistical tool, as far as I understand.
Okay, so if that is from your part is over, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's over.
Let me ask Professor Naresh Kumar. Professor Naresh Kumar, if you recall, it was one of your when you chaired a meeting that was that time only we have. In fact, I have initiated this particular subject for as a course, right? And you also asked for a kind of presentation also. So what is your views about this presentation or maybe about the book? Book is now available in the market. Yes, sir.
No, I'm completely an outsider. First, I don't understand in terms of statistics or anything. But
Right.
just all the inputs have to be put in. How these, whether they have been incorporated before or not, all these things I don't know. But it's a current way of looking at things to make it more efficient.
Right. So implementation part, yes, there in need yes kind of exercise that's also needed. There is an exercise comes there also. That actually depends on the projects, what kind of projects you are working on. Okay, generally, if you look at all this the concepts which I have presented here, it's all connected with some projects, maybe some not survey kind of project, manufacturing process or automobile process or this. So the implementation part, yes, it depends on what kind of context you are talking about. Thank you. Subbarao, I think you need to. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. Yeah.
Right.
Actually, Six Sigma is something that's actually taught in even in economics also. We actually make use of it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because in econometrics, we actually use Six Sigma and related concepts.
Yeah.
Now, because ultimately what we have is when it's used in manufacturing and all, though we look it from a perspective of quality and other dimensions, so it's always said that ultimately it actually has to go to the workshop.
Right.
So that's what actually you are referring to, manufacturing and management and those aspects.
Okay.
So ultimately it has to be engineering concept. So there are two dimensions. One is manufacturing, other is that when you talk of quality, you're talking of not necessarily only the technicalities, you're talking of different dimensions.
Right. So when you're talking about Six Sigma,
qualitative aspect to it.
Yeah. So
actually when we have, so in a way what we have is, when you talk of a product involves technology, but when you say technology, it is not one precise method, it's a combination of methods that are actually used.
Right.
So even in processes, when you say ISO 9000 and so on and so forth, so basically you are talking about different dimensions of a particular problem.
Right.
So basically what you have is you are looking for quality or Six Sigma in each dimension.
Okay.
So in a way what you are looking for precision in each method or process that is actually followed.
Okay.
So wherein you are saying that there should be less number of errors or
say defects or waste. So you may use different terminologies, but ultimately you are actually trying to minimize the errors or the waste and so on and so forth. So that's basically what we have. So my question is, so when you actually put it in terms of your lean, mean, and this particular process, so are you actually looking in terms of adding all this? So when you say probability, so you are, because it's ultimately the combination of all these factors.
Right.
So there are 10 different dimensions. So is it the additive aspect of all these 10?
No. Wait. Let me give some insight to what you are talking. See, you are talk always on everything on the basis of Six Sigma concept, right, sir? And you very correctly said it is all talking about variation, reduction, etc., etc. That's fine. Now you will be surprised that I have not used. I have only mentioned a simple description about Six Sigma in this particular book. Please note. I have my own another book on Six Sigma, which I have not discussed in this, any of this topic. I have not discussed here in this book. Now, lean is, I told you, this is a philosophy where it works for processes and services, business. It is again talking about business-related activities.
Yeah, we use the concept of efficiency.
Efficiency. Okay, that's very common. That's
so
a usual.
Basically, efficiency method.
Right.
The most efficient way of doing things.
Yes, most efficient. That's okay. Most efficient way of doing it. Yes, that's fine. If that is the way you wanted to put it on, okay, I agree to some extent. That's fine. Anybody else, please? Anything else? Anybody? Okay.
Yeah, this is a theme that has applications in different fields. That's
of course, sir. Yes, of course. There is a lot of potential. It can be used in any fields and any disciplines, and there are a lot of fields where it can be used. At least if you are able to use lean concept, that's okay, fine. You can use a green concept also in isolation, clean concept also in isolation. But if it is combined, I think it will definitely make wonders. Thank you. So, Rupal, you may conclude if there is no other questions.
Yeah. So.
Microphone muted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So if no more questions, we can then conclude this meeting. Okay. So we would like to once again thank Dean Faculty of Science, Professor Kataria, Head Department of Statistics, Professor Kalamkar, and the colleagues of Department of Statistics and other colleagues from the Faculty of Science and other students and guests who joined the webinar through the Google Meet, as well as those who watched the live streaming on YouTube. We are sincerely thankful to each one of you. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you to the speaker also. Thank you, Professor Muralidharan.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for your patience. Thanks to all the participants.
Thank you
Thanks
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.